Welcome to the Under the Halo podcast. My name is Trent Rush. On today's edition, we feature Carlos Estévez, the Angels closer, and we have some fun with Carlos. We talk a little bit about what goes into being a closer, what the day is like, and get to know Carlos Estévez on a little bit of a more personal level as well, as he talks about some of the players he used to watch growing up and a whole lot more cool stuff ahead here in our half-hour conversation. So without further ado, here's our chat with Angels closer Carlos Estévez. It is a little toasty for Christmas in June.
It is.
Did you see the Christmas decorations?
Oh yeah, I saw it on the way in. They have some more?
They're around. They're around the ballpark. There's the big tree out front.
Yeah. I saw that one.
Are you a Christmas guy?
Yeah, I do like it. I really like it.
I heard a rumor that your favorite Christmas movie is Home Alone.
Yeah, it is.
But there's like a name for it in Spanish. What?
Wait.
See, now I'm tripping you up.
I gotta translate it.
I gotta translate before.
Yeah, you see, and now I remember the English version. Mi pequeño angelito. That's what it is. Okay. It's completely different to what it means in English, but that's how I learned it, and then I found out it was different in English.
That's pretty good. Are the girls into it? The girls into like Christmas movies?
Yes.
That kind of stuff happen?
Yes, they do. They have seen all the Santa Clauses, and there's actually I think it's a TV show in Disney Plus they're watching too about Santa Claus too.
I mean, don't get me started on the Disney Plus. So I have a 2.5-year-old. At home. So we are watching Frozen 2, or Tangled every single day. It's happening. Do you get to spend a lot of time with the girls? I know it's tough during the baseball season.
Dude, yeah, I do, and I love it, but it's a lot of Frozen, and we gotta knock it down a little bit. It's way too much, but there are a lot more princesses, and we've been watching, and they love it. Every single one of those movies, and that's pretty cool. They like to enjoy it.
That's good. Look, when you get into that level, that's what I'm learning. The princess thing is nonstop. So I would imagine you've probably gotten pretty good at tea parties. You got 2 now.
Yes, I do. Now they're getting kind of wild because the youngest, Scarlett, she kind of gets mad when she doesn't see enough tea on her cup, and we're working with it. Samantha loves it. Samantha is the oldest one, and we've been having some tea parties for a while now.
See, but that's the competitor, right? That's you know that she's getting that from Dad because it's never enough. And I know I just kind of going to baseball for a minute. I know when you came here, it was you wanted to be the closer. That's what you wanted to be when you first signed. I remember talking to you. We had a Zoom conversation when you first signed with the Angels, and I'm like, all right, this guy wants it. This guy wants to get it done. And now here you are, and All-Star last season. What's the journey been like now, kind of honing in that 9th inning?
It feels great knowing that I got the opportunity to do it, and I had my struggles, and I have had my struggles, and still find a way to work through them, and that feels really cool. Still to be able to make the adjustment, always pitching on leverage, and that feels really good for me, and I know the guys have my back in that clubhouse, and that feels amazing.
Walk me through just the mentality and what all goes into the 9th inning. Take me through from when the game starts, how you're taking it in, to making that walk once that bullpen door opens, to throwing your warm-up toss. Walk me through. How does it play out for you in that situation?
For me, basically, the first 3 innings, at least 9 hitters, I like to watch them on the TV inside to see what's the strike zone like, how the guys are swinging. I mean, which of our guys is starting today, and see how he attacks them. And that's one thing I like to pick from watching it on the TV, with the strike zone. Yeah. And from there, I go do, I go to a training room and do my stretches and my stuff, and then I get showered, get dressed, and come out here. And from there, it's just, get to the bullpen, get to see the guys. They always have some questions like, hey, what do you see? Because they know I'm in there. Right. And I bring some knowledge to them. Not knowledge, but the inside of how the umpire, how the zone is that day. And also helps me to know how I'm going to attack hitters later. And that preparation gets me to focus a little bit more because I know what I'm going to do before I get in the game. And when the situation comes, it's, all business. I think from the 7 or 8, when I'm, throwing my plyo balls back there and getting ready, is all business. I'm focused and ready to go in there.
So how is that different from maybe your role like when you were in Colorado being used as like a high leverage guy? Maybe the high leverage situation's in the 6th, maybe it's in the 8th, versus knowing the 9th inning is yours now. Because I've heard, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard this for years, like when you're a closer and you know that's your inning, that's my time, as tough as it is to get those final 3 outs, I know a lot of people enjoy that because you kind of have a little bit of rhythm. You know what to expect. So how is it different from when you're like a high leverage guy versus being the closer?
When you're a high leverage guy, you don't even know when you're going to come in the game. I mean, I came in the game a few times, bases loaded, no outs in the 5th inning. Yeah. But that was a tough part on the game before the 9th inning. And that's when I understood, like, you're a high leverage guy, but it doesn't matter where. If the situation needs you early, you're going to go early. Yeah. And that's one thing is kind of tougher, being a situational guy like that. But being a closer, it's the toughest inning, whatever. You know what they're gonna attack you with. You know they're gonna attack your strengths, and I know I'm gonna keep doing what I do with my strengths, and that's what makes it a little bit harder because there's no going around it. I'm gonna go with what I have, and I'm gonna keep attacking, and they know it too. So that's why it gets a little bit tougher. They watch you more on video. They focus more on the closer, but the relieving situations earlier are really hard. Yeah. And that's one thing you got to be prepared from first or second inning. You never know. So
when you're out there, like, what makes that 9th inning so tough? You mentioned they have more video on you. You kind of know, look, in almost every situation, your best reliever is who comes into the 9th inning. So what makes that inning so tough?
Honestly, for some reason, hitters love knocking down the closer. And you can even see the intent of focus, like the pitches they take later in the game. You're like, man, I saw you swinging at that pitch earlier. Why don't you swing now? And it's like they are. It's like sharks, like they smell blood and like, oh, I'm going for it. I'm gonna try to get this guy right here. And that's it makes it more fun too because I always have to go out there with my best as they do too, and that feels really good.
One thing about closers as well. There is that showmanship element, right? When the door opens and the ballpark the lights do different things, and the videos for you. So do you like that? Is that what you want? Does that help you a little bit?
Honestly, I have never been a guy, like I want the attention. I had never been that guy, but being a closer, as soon as you leave that gate, everyone's looking at you. Everyone knows the game is coming to an end, and everyone is, for some reason, paying more attention to the end of the game. Of course, what's going to happen is going to be right there. And that's one thing I actually enjoy, but only when I'm pitching, like coming out. From there, I mean, I'm okay with everything else, but from there, that feels really amazing, having everyone watching the game, paying attention, and the people get more into it, the fans get more into it, and that feels really cool to be on that moment on the mound.
Did you have a favorite closer growing up watching?
Yeah, man. I watch a lot of Mariano Rivera. Sure. And I really like Kimbrough. And because when I was growing up in the Dominican Republic, the two channels you always saw was the Braves and the Red Sox, because Pedro Martinez was a superstar when I was growing up, and they always had it on TV, the Red Sox. And the Braves, the TV channel. However, they were getting everywhere.
TBS, they had the Braves were on all the time.
Exactly. And that's why I really like seeing. I got to see a lot of Red Sox versus Yankees, and then Mariano Rivera, greatest of all time, doing what we do, and seeing Kimbrough coming up and doing his weird thing with the arm. That was really cool.
Were you? I mean, when does that shift happen? Because I know everyone, most pitchers, they want to be starters, and then when you get the bullpen. But when does that shift happen for you? Was it early when you felt like you wanted that closer role? Did you want to be a starter for a while? How'd that work out?
Honestly, after I played in the Dominican Summer League and I came over to the States, I had a really good year as a piggyback in rookie ball. I was a starter still, but I was a piggyback of John Gray, now pitcher for the Texas Rangers. We were teammates in rookie ball, and after that, I still really liked being a starter. But the next year, I show up to spring training, and a lot of guys are starters. They had like 8 starters going to the league that I was trying to go. And I said myself, like, I mean, if you don't have a spot as a starter, I don't mind being a long reliever or whatever. But right after that year, 2014, that's when I felt like I was going to be good on big spots later in the game. And that's when I started, liking it more and trying to get to that mentality of a closer. And I finally started closing games in High A 2015.
I heard a really interesting interview after the Florida Panthers just won the Stanley Cup, they had their coach on, and they said they were trying to protect a 1-goal lead with 8 minutes to go. The host was Scott Van Pelt. He goes, look, in that situation, you must have wanted the time to go so fast. You want that clock to speed through to just get that thing over with. And the coach had an interesting comment. He said, no, not really. I wanted to stay present in the moment. I knew how important that was.
Nice.
And he was comfortable slowing things down. That ninth inning, man, that is just pressure that very few people could ever experience.
Yep.
So how do you internalize that? Like, what makes you great in those moments?
Honestly, I used to be really bad at it. I used to let the game speed me up. And when I started seeing footage of older guys like pitching and doing all this stuff, and the one thing in common with those guys that were always really good was the deep breath. They always take a deep breath, take their time in between pitches. And I was like, I got to bring that to my game. Come on, I got to get better at that because I know where I want to get. And, I started doing that, and it got me a lot more under control and more calm. And I'm still doing that. I mean, some guys still, panic when they see the pitch clock going down to 8. Sometimes I'm not even on the rubber when it's like 7 or 6. And, I take my deep breath, and still 2 seconds, 1 second, I deliver my pitch. And now I'm really comfy with, slowing it down, taking my own time. Because if I don't throw the baseball, there's going to be no game. I know we got the pitch clock now, it's going to be a ball, whatever. But if I got a runner on and I step off, I still got one more. Yeah. And, those are the things you got to learn and start playing with. That's going to help you a lot more.
Do you feel like maybe you're more comfortable now having done this for a season and a half and dealing with the pitch timer for a season and a half in these situations? Do you feel more comfortable out there in these moments?
I mean, of course, we have to learn. That's why we are in the big leagues, because we make adjustments quick. And they brought the clock. Everyone hates it still. A lot of people hate it. Right now, the time is like, it is what it is. We're going to have to deal with it. And I learned how to trick the clock, use it to my advantage. And that has helped me a lot more now, because hitters, they still got to be on the box set, looking at me at 8 seconds. So I got to find a way to make it better for me, not for them.
That's interesting. Let's go into last year for a little bit. I mean, you'd never been a starter before. All of a sudden, you end up in the All-Star game after being as dominant as you were, especially in the first half a season ago. How would you describe just maybe the whirlwind of getting that opportunity and then ending up in the Midsummer Classic?
It felt amazing. I never thought about the All-Star game until like 2 weeks before that. Everyone was talking about it. And I'm like, well, I think I have a really good case of, going to the All-Star game. But if I don't go, I don't mind it. I mean, I'm gonna be disappointed, but at the same time, I know that's not the main goal. Is to win games over here. And I love the opportunity I got, and I love every time I went out there that the guys got me into the game. Nevin told me, hey man, if we got the lead, you're gonna have it, and that's something I really appreciate. The opportunity is more than anything else, because at the same time, anywhere I was gonna pitch, I was still gonna keep working and trying to get better, but the opportunity of doing it, that's what counts for me the most.
Carlos, I remember talking with you, probably 2 weeks ago or something, when you had started this run where you'd retired 26 in a row. And after the way this season started, 9 save opportunities in, you only had 6 saves. And we were talking about how you pretty much said, yeah, I just wanted more time. Like, that's part of being a reliever. That's going to happen, and you just work through it. Yeah. And now, cool as can be. Life is good, back on track, and life is great. But was there a moment of, I better start getting things into gear here? Did that ever cross your mind?
Honestly, no. It's like I said before. It is what it is. It's baseball. They get paid to hit. I get paid to pitch, and it's a competition. Yeah. They're gonna do their best. I gotta do my best too. Some days, the best one that day is gonna win. Unfortunately, I wasn't being at my best for the few weeks I was struggling. And it's like I said, opportunities are gonna come. I'm gonna pitch more, and I'm gonna go back on track because I'm getting my work done. That's the confidence. I always have a lot of confidence on myself. Even when I'm struggling, I know I'm gonna get out of that hole. I'll be fine. I just gotta keep working and keep believing on the process. Trust the process, and you're gonna be better with it.
Is that confidence that comes from experience?
Honestly, yeah. At the beginning, in the minor leagues, it was kind of tough, knowing I came from Dominican Republic. It was a long way, sometimes I was here alone, and I miss my family and all those stuff. But that the season is gonna be, you're gonna spend 6 months here, you're gonna compete for 6 months, you're gonna see your family after, or if they can come over and visit, that's gonna be amazing. But everything is a process, everything is a sacrifice to get to the main goal. And once I understood that, I have that confidence on myself, like everything is gonna be fine. Just keep working and stay on top of your things. You're gonna be fine.
Carlos, take me back to when you were a young boy in the Dominican. And I mean, here with the Angels, we've gotten to say from between Vladimir Guerrero and Albert Pujols, all-time icons. But before we get into you, how big are those guys in the Dominican Republic?
Legends,
yeah.
Hall of Famers. Pujols still hasn't got to the time to get to be in the Hall of Fame, but for us, it's a Hall of Fame already.
It'll be a first ballot.
Yeah, and seeing those guys when I was growing up, it was amazing to see how good they were at playing baseball. And, everyone wanted to mimic their batting stances. Everyone wanted to have an arm like Vladimir Guerrero. And, everyone was having that stance, Pujols with the high bat. And, same with Pedro Martinez. Everyone wanted to pitch like Pedro. And those guys are huge. They had a huge impact on the community and also as and young guys, young kids playing baseball.
So when you're watching those guys, is that where you fell in love with the game? How did that love for baseball come to be?
Even before I started watching baseball, I was really young. I was like 7, I think, and I remember watching the Braves. Greg Maddox, Tom Glavine, John Smoltz. That team, and I actually was watching the Braves. They were always on TV, but Rafael Furcal and my dad, they know each other since they were young. Okay. And, my dad always talk about him, and I always follow him because of him. And then from there, I started seeing more teams, and I was like, oh, my God, I really love this game. And, I want to be a major league player when I get older, And, it paid out really well.
I guess so. You talk about watching Pedro and how much he meant to you. Did you ever... from a hitting side, were you ever a position player, or was it always pitching all the way?
I was a good hitter until I started seeing changeups thrown at me. So from there, I started to be a really bad hitter, and I was like, you know what? I got a good arm. I might stick to pitching, and but I had power. I was able to hit the slider and the curveball and the fastball, but whenever I saw a changeup, I couldn't tell you if it was a fastball or not. I got in trouble, and I was like, you know what? Let me stick to pitching.
Carlos, you'll have to forgive me. I think there's a little bit of irony in you talking about Pedro Martinez, because I think about two pitchers that couldn't have a more different physique than you and Pedro Martinez. But watching him, and obviously with what he was able to do, but what kind of things did you take from watching Pedro Martinez as a boy that you're now able to bring to your game here in the big leagues?
Man, he was just fearless, He was 5'10", something like that. But he was fearless. He didn't care who was hitting, and he was just attacking the strike zone with everything he had. And that confidence he had from the first moment of the game, that's one thing that really called to my attention, And, he was small or whatever, but he looked like he was 8 feet tall on that mound when he was pitching. So that's one thing I really take from him.
One thing that now you, a veteran on this team, bunch of young relievers coming up. Sometimes in the bullpen, a guy will be here for a day. Mm-hmm. Hello, nice to meet you. See you later. Hope to see you come back. It can be a volatile place in the bullpen, trying to find that consistency. As a leader out there, what do you feel like your responsibility is to help this bullpen as a group?
Honestly, I always tell him, man, whatever you need to ask, just shoot it. I don't mind. I'm always gonna have the time to talk to you, because I was once a young reliever, with my ups and downs. And I had some guys that really helped me too, and I feel like I gotta pass that down, because we learn a lot by talking to other relievers. And if they're been in the game for a little bit, Garcia has 1 more year ahead of me in the big leagues, but I still talk to him like he has 12 more years ahead of me, and he knows a lot of stuff that that I'm still learning too. And it's the same thing whenever Ben Joyce approaches, hey, what do you think right here? I want to get. What do you think if I get the shape of my slider better? I'm like, he's got those good questions, and that's why I think he's going to be really good, because he's always asking, doesn't matter what it is, he's going to always come with that question. And that's when, for me, that's when I start getting a lot better too. When I start, thinking about those things, okay, let me see on this situation, this guy is a really good slider hitter. should I not throw it or something like that? Yeah, you still throw it because it's one of your strengths, but in different ways. And that's one thing when you get a lot better with understanding the game and watching the swings and all this stuff.
I'm glad you brought up Ben Joyce because I wanted to talk about him. When someone like him comes up, I mean, a lot of attention, a lot of eyeballs on Ben Joyce, and he comes in with a reputation of that 105 mile an hour fastball and how hard this guy throws it. What is it about Ben Joyce that maybe gives you, maybe you just answered it, but what else about Ben Joyce do you see when you're talking about a player that hopes to, I mean, at some point be a closer himself?
Man, the hard work. He works so hard, and he tries to get better every single day. And for me, when I saw how he was in spring training compared to last year, I was like, he's really trying, and he's working really hard to get there. And that's one thing that, calls to your attention. Like, this guy, he didn't care he had a label, I can throw 105. I was really good at college. No, man, this is where you got to, get the spotlight and get ready to go. And that's what he's doing right now. And that's what I'm saying that's why he has those questions like, hey, how do I get better? And that's really good to see. He never, he didn't sit on a couch and, lay back and, I'm in the big leagues, I'm still young. No, he's like trying to get ready to work and try to do his best every day.
It's great hearing that. Okay, so let's go back to the mound. When you get that third out and you record the save, I got to say, the energy that you spend in that move afterwards, I don't know how to describe it. What does that come from?
I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball, that's an anime. Okay. And I started watching it when I was really young. And actually, that's a Kamehameha. And I think the really...
what?
Kamehameha is like, the real translation is like, I think it's like energy wave or something. Right. For you to be able to make that move is a lot of training to get through. And, when you're finally able to manifest your energy, like, it's like a blast to eliminate the enemy. And like we started doing it, it was, Manny, bro, like, man, we gotta get a different celebration now. We got the chop last year, and he was like, why don't you do a Kamehameha? Because he grew up watching Dragon Ball Z too. And I was like, well, that sounds pretty cool. We got a lot of fans looking into it, and I really like it, so why not?
So did you practice this? Is there Carlos standing in the mirror rehearsing this at home before you get here? How does that come to be? No.
I didn't rehearse. I didn't practice it. When I was younger and I was playing with my brother and cousins on the backyard, we'll mimic that we were throwing Kamehamehas, but I didn't try it. Honestly, the first day he brought it up, I got a save that day, so I just did it out there. It just came out natural.
I love that. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
If it happens organic, then just roll with it. You know what else I've noticed too? I feel like every time you and I talk after a game when you get a save, you always still have the game ball in your hand.
Yeah.
Do you hang on to those?
Yeah, I do. I keep him with me. I take him home. I got this thing that I learned from a few older guys that it doesn't matter how good you're doing or how bad you're doing. You never know when it's going to be your last day on a baseball field on what you do. So you got to enjoy every moment and everything, every little thing you do, you got to celebrate it because you don't know for how long you're going to be playing. And in this game, we're relievers, we're expendables. You see the most changes in the bullpen every year. And that's one thing you got to enjoy. And I know that's a good memory for me to have, so I keep them all.
Do you display them? Are they
I have some. I got the first one whenever I was a rookie. I got the first one saved. Okay. At my house, I got the first one that I got with the Angels, and I got the number 23. Yeah, I got the 23rd from last year. The streak. I still have them, and I have the ball that I finished the inning with in the All-Star game too.
Nice.
Yeah, and hopefully from here, if I get 100, 200, I'm gonna save them too.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, of course. There's another. You bring up an interesting thing. There's another Carlos Estévez that I know that likes to collect baseball memorabilia. Folks at home might know him as Charlie Sheen.
Yep.
But you guys sharing the same namesake. Have you guys connected?
Yeah.
Really?
I met him in my rookie year actually.
Okay.
Eric Young was the third base coach with the Rockies. Actually, first base coach with the Rockies, and he knew Tony Todd, which is a really good friends with Charlie Sheen, and they reach out like, "Hey, Carlos Estévez, like, we want to meet you." I'm like, "Who's we?" "Oh, me and my buddy." "Who's your buddy?" "Charlie Sheen." I'm like, I know we have the same name, whatever.
Right.
You're just making fun of me. You're joking. And we're like, no. Like, he's being real. Like, he wants to meet you. And, we talked through FaceTime, and then we met each other. He's a really big fan of baseball. I was so surprised to see it. And the stuff he has on his wall, his memorabilia wall, is really cool.
Well, I know that, he takes it seriously. There was one time where he bought almost 3,000 seats in right field here at Angel Stadium just because he wanted to catch, I believe, I'm trying to remember who the home run ball was, but I think it was Cecil Fielder. Trying to get a Cecil Fielder home run ball here. He bought almost 3,000 seats.
Oh my God.
And sat right you got to find the newspaper. It's out there. It's
I'm gonna look
amazing.
it up.
You got to look that up. So does he, do you guys, do you talk baseball? Because he's Wild Thing. You don't want to catch that, but he was. He closed out some big moments for those Cleveland Indian teams in Major League.
Oh man, when I came up, actually, it was funny because when I came up, I didn't know about walk-up music, whatever, and I come in the game and the song they play for me is Wild Thing.
No way.
And I'm like, oh my God. I'm trying not to laugh. I'm really nervous. I'm making my big league debut, but I heard this song and I was like, that's pretty cool. I didn't really see it on the wrong side, but I really liked and enjoyed it. I know it's still a lot of fans in Colorado. They still call me Walting whenever they see me, and that nickname stick around for a little bit, and it was funny because people didn't know that I knew we had the same name, and I get to be the back end of a bullpen, and that was really funny.
That's hilarious. Wild Thing is fun and all, but you'd much prefer to throw strikes.
Oh yeah, for sure, all the time.
Well, it's great seeing that. It's fun having you here, with the Angels and this experience. And we talked about Ben Joyce in this bullpen, but it does feel like there is a youth movement that is happening here with some of these young Angels. And I don't know, maybe if it's as easy to see from the bullpen, but obviously being around these guys all the time, what do you make of some of these young Angels that are coming up?
Honestly, I really love their work ethic. The whole group has a really good work ethic, and all of them have the same mentality of getting better every day. And now they're a lot better, Wash has been doing a really good job with telling them, hey, little by little. Even the Roman Empire was little at one time, You're gonna keep getting better. You're gonna get better at what you do, but you just gotta stay focused and believing in what you're doing. And that's what I see on these younger guys. I believe they're gonna be a lot better in the future. And man, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen.
They say Rome wasn't built in a day, and that is true. It takes a little bit of time. In many ways, a lot like your career. And as much as you've accomplished already, Carlos, as you look ahead and what you want to continue to do in this game, do you set goals? Do you have things that you want to accomplish in baseball that you're still out to get?
Honestly, everyone would love to win a World Series, but at the same time, it's like I said, for me, I'd rather live the moment. I'd rather live the day by day, and that's what I think keeps me humble, keeps me sane, and keeps me working every day to get better and better. It doesn't matter at what level you're at. You just gotta stay where you're at or just get better. Because even if you're staying the same, you're still losing that thing, So you just gotta get better every day.
Carlos, man, it was fun hanging out. Great words of wisdom, and I really enjoyed this conversation.
All right, thank you guys for having me.
All right, see you. Thanks for checking out the Under the Halo podcast. You can always watch the Under the Halo podcast if you're listening right now on the Angels YouTube page, or if you're watching already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you'd ever like to listen to a previous episode, you go to angels.com/podcasts, or you can listen wherever you're getting podcasts already. Again, my name is Trent Rush. This has been the Under the Halo podcast.